of applause, everybody. A round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, everybody? What's up, my good people? Welcome to the Washed Up channel. I'm your host, C. Will. Today, we're going to talk about the travesty that's forming in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Clippers dropped their 5th game in a row. Yes, their 5th game in a row and their 4th game since James Harden joined the team. They dropped to the lowly Ja Morantless Memphis Grizzlies last night. They dropped last night's game by a score of 105 to 101. Paul George led the Clippers with 26 points. Leonard only had 14. Westbrook 12 and Harden 11. Russell Westbrook had the best plus minus last night. He had a plus 10. George had the second best at a plus 2. And Leonard had a minus 18. And Harden had a despicable minus 28. Ouch. And then when you lose to the Grizzlies right now, who are struggling to find themselves, that's definitely not a good look. And then I just, I don't want to get too far deep into what I think about the overall trade. However, it's hard not to look at the optics of what the Clippers were looking at whenever they decided to make a deal for James, especially when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers are undefeated since he left the team. They deserve a round of applause for that. Yes, and Tyrese Maxey went insane last night. He's been playing out of his mind already this year, but he finally broke through and dropped 50 last night. That was his career high, and for him to be reaching new heights without having to worry about a guy like James Harden. Yep. Yeah, obviously he feels more freedom and he's doing more since James Harden is not there. But again, I don't want to get too far into it. But before we do move on to the next phases of our show, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Washed Up channel so you can get all of our hot takes, all of our hot stories as we release it fresh off the press. That's my favorite song right there. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the shot last night, or actually some footage from the game that the Clippers had last night. And the game did come down to the wire. Get it going.
Oh my goodness, what a break from Memphis.
This is a home game.
Around Biombo in the corner to Harden for 3 in the tie. Ball knocked out of bounds.
1-3.
Terrence Mann says review it.
Just a heads-up play by Marcus Smart. He couldn't get and gather the ball himself, but he knew exactly where Roddy was at.
Biombo was the last to touch the ball.
6 seconds to play. Harden for 3. No. And the struggles continue for the Clippers. Memphis wins for the 2nd time this year. Clippers drop
Memphis is on their 2nd win of the season.
Straight game, 105-101.
So, yeah, man, that's not a good look whenever you lose to the Memphis Grizzlies, as bad as they are looking this year and as bad as they are playing, that one hit, pretty deep with me. I mean, the Dallas Mavericks are playing some good basketball. They're 8-2. So for them to lose to the Mavs in the way, I mean, they're not playing at Dallas's level right now. And they just built, a new team or trying to build a new team. But, but when you lose to the Grizzlies, that's, it's kind of a humbling, loss. Clippers are in a tough spot. I mean, for the life of me, I can't figure out what would make them want to make a deal for James Harden. I mean, where is he going to play? Why do you need him? And I'm not knocking James. James is one of the best offensive players that we've seen in this game. But the Clippers were scoring points last year. I mean, why do you need James Harden? I don't understand that. Westbrook, I understood, because Westbrook adds pace. He adds speed to what you have, because Leonard and George are more half-court players. So Westbrook complements them because he can do what he need to do in the full court, because that's where he flourished, pushing and using his speed and athleticism. But James Harden is another half-court player that needs the ball in the half court. So I don't get it. So we're gonna take a look at Stephen A. Smith. I want to get his take on
You know what the safest investment in the world right now is? Because it's not stocks, real estate, or crypto. It's actually on you.
It was not the final score was not indicative of how far apart they were. Dallas Mavericks, third best record in basketball, 7-2.
Okay, we've got to get it together here in just a second. Share the screen. All right, we're ready. We're ready to go.
Luka Doncic showing what a superstar he is. Dropped 44 last night. Kyrie Irving had 27. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Clippers are 0-3 with James Harden, 0-4 over their last 4 games. They're winless. They're on a 4-game losing streak. This is getting ugly. Because first of all, they're losing with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on the court. We're going with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Secondly, James Harden taking only 6 shots. That's a bit odd.
Definitely, it is odd.
It's a bit odd. Los Angeles Clippers are not looking good. If anybody's going to figure it out, Ty Lue's figuring it out. But Ty Lue really, really needs to be figuring out a way to get the hell up out of L.A. The Phoenix Suns wanted him before they ever hired Frank Vogel, but the Clippers wouldn't let him out of his deal. And so as a result, he's got to stay there. And it's one of those situations where you're looking at James Harden and you're asking, how the hell is this going to work? Seriously, how the hell is this going to work?
I have no clue.
I mean, I'm just looking at the Los Angeles Clippers right now. James Harden needs the basketball. Russell Westbrook needs the basketball. And they're not even 2 of the primary scorers. That responsibility falls on the shoulders of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So you got 2 dudes who are your stars, who have to have the ball.
Gotta have the ball.
And deserve it. And a 40+ million they're getting a year mandates they get the damn ball.
Gotta get the ball.
But the ball is in the hands of Russell Westbrook or James Harden. Both who need the ball, both who are not great with moving without the ball. Their thing is having the ball in their hands and being facilitators for somebody else or themselves. Not running around through picks and screens and moving without the basketball like a Steph Curry and then getting the ball that way. No, that ain't gonna work for them. Neither of them do that. This is why I wasn't really enamored with this move. I thought James Harden would have been better off as a Los Angeles Laker, potentially replacing a D'Angelo Russell. because James Harden would have the ball in his hands. He could dance, he could do his thing, he could feed LeBron, etc., Anthony Davis, that kind of thing. He could do that. But James Harden ain't running around without the ball.
Right.
And Russell Westbrook ain't gonna do that. Why is Golden State, even with CP3, still formidable? Because CP3 is a quintessential point guard, but Steph Curry knows how to move without the basketball. He's one of the elite dudes in the NBA, in NBA history doing that. Remember the social media post or the interview that J.R. Smith, former member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, remember when they did an interview with him and he talked about how Matthew Dellavedova almost died covering Steph Curry. They needed to send him to the hospital and give him additional oxygen because that's how exhausted he was from running around chasing Steph Curry. Russell Westbrook and James Harden ain't doing that. I mean, the Statue of Liberty ain't far from me. And I'm telling you right now, that might move more than James Harden. Obviously, being facetious since it doesn't move at all. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. You don't fit.
It's not a good situation. It really isn't. And I'm really wondering, and I'm really iffy on whether or not this situation is really, really going to work for Steve Ballmer, the billionaire owner for the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm getting to that point. It's early in the season. I get all that. I get all of that. But it just seems like parts that don't fit.
Definitely.
Putting a square peg into a round hole just don't fit. And if you Ballmer, and you're trying to establish something special in Los Angeles, not be the fair weather stepchild to the Los Angeles Lakers, whose asses you've kicked for the last pretty much 5, 6, 8 years, for crying out loud, before you lost to them recently last week in an overtime game that Paul George fouled out of. You're trying to establish your own thing. You're building a new arena in Inglewood.
Is this your sports betting strategy?
Okay, so we'll cut it off right here. But I get what he's saying. It's like, it's not good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like it's something that's sustainable over time, and it don't look like it's going to get any better. I see somebody getting shipped out of there or maybe a couple of people. I don't know. Because these guys, I mean, they all making a lot of money, but I don't know, man. I thought the Clippers were serious about winning a championship a couple of years ago. But now after, going out and getting James Harden, like, they can't be serious anymore. I mean, you got a guy that everywhere he's gone, he hasn't smelt anything close to a championship, but yet and still y'all are serious about trying to play for a championship. It's baffling to me. It really is. But make sure that you don't forget to go ahead and give us a like for this show, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're feeling this content. So it's one more thing that I want to show, and this is about James Harden. I feel like James Harden really needs for this to work. Like, I know he has a carefree type of attitude to where, whatever, I'm rich, I go to the strip club, I go do what I want to do, I got MVPs and I'm one of the best scorers of all time, but you have never been known as a winner. So you'll never be compared to the winners of the game. But if you are a selfish person and don't care, then I guess that don't matter. So I think this is gut check time for James Harden and for how, he wants to end his career and for how he wants to be remembered. I know most people probably gonna like him regardless, but most people the higher ups, the people that actually appreciates a person's character and the real students of the game. You appreciate people who are selfless and care about winning. You started out in Oklahoma City. You wanted to get out of there. Y'all had just went to the finals. why not come back again, try to do something special? You know, they lost to LeBron that year. He went to Houston, you know, did his thing down there as an individual, but never really got close to getting to that title. And that was in his prime. Then he got sent to, he wanted to go to Brooklyn with his friends and couldn't take it in Brooklyn. And you know, they got, you know, he got the trade to Philadelphia, and then he gets into it with his best friend, his guy, Daryl Morey. So now you are in Los Angeles. So it's just looking like you are a journeyman. And the thing about old players that we watch as youngsters, you know, we appreciate and admire what they do as players, but when they get to be older, they're more transparent in just showing you what their heart and their soul is really about. And I don't like what James Harden stands for. You know, like, you know, it's just, I can't respect that, you know, not me. Me being a former player, as you guys can see, you know, washed up today. But yeah, I mean, I can't appreciate a guy that don't care. Because why are you doing this if you're not doing it to win? And this last video is gonna, you know, basically add on to the point that I'm trying to make here right now. We're gonna go ahead and air that real quick.
To pipe this into the Clippers locker room so I can talk to you, James. I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You were holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with your guy, believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible. The bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, wow, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
Wow. You said you're going to go swiping around looking to go to another team, but it's not going to be another team there. Some pretty heavy stuff right there. But I mean, what he's saying is true. I mean, when you're younger, you can get away with that stuff. When you get to be like 34, 35, 36 plus, man, I mean, you can't be playing around like this, man. You know, so that's why I said he really needs this situation to work for his longevity. Because if it don't work for what he demands in terms of money and the ball and all that, like, he's not going to ever play worthwhile basketball ever again. They might send him to a team like, I don't know, one of the sorriest teams in the league, the Pistons or something. I mean, but why would you want to play for the Pistons at 35 plus? I wouldn't have the motivation at that age. So it's just not a good look to the eye, to the optics of how his career has gone. And I think he has the most to lose, even though it would appear that he wouldn't, but you know, I think that he does, and they really need to make it work, because if they don't, I mean, you might have to start over from scratch as a team all over again, because it's not like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are reliable in terms of their health. So on the flip side of it, maybe that's why they made the trade. Maybe that's why they made the trade, is because of how they truly feel about their leaders, being Kawhi and Paul George. So maybe they're looking at it like, well, y'all probably won't be around anyway, so at least at that point we'll have somebody that can create something. But as long as they all are out there, if you are preparing for everybody to be out there, then it's not going to work. There's no way James Harden can be James Harden if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are on the court. So it might be something deeper than what we can see, and James Harden is taking the smoke away from what we really need to be looking at. There's so many layers to peel back on this. This could be a situation to where they're looking at more than the issues that they're having trying to acclimate James Harden. Maybe they're looking at Kawhi Leonard and they're looking at Paul George saying, y'all are hell of a players while y'all are here, but will y'all be here? So maybe we should prepare for you guys not to be here. So my thoughts. But either way it go, I feel like James needs this to work, to change the optics of what he's being how he's being looked at. So yeah, Clippers need to get it together, man. So that's our show today on the Washed Up channel. We will be on this Clippers James Harden story more and more, even if they continue to play bad, or even if they improve. This is a situation that we're going to keep an eye on, and make sure that you stay locked on and subscribe to the channel so you can catch everything. So long from the Washed Up channel. My name is Say Will. Take care. I'm out.